Homework has been plaguing humans for a lot longer than you might think. These are all the oldest universities in Europe that haven't stopped operating. Like, they didn't even take a couple decade break. Oxford University's been giving out homework for about 1,000 years now. Kill me. No, you know what? Actually, I do want to know, well, theoretically, everyone has always had homework. Like, just from like a definition point of view, work at home. I like how some reports of the first homework assignment given out was to punish students who didn't demonstrate a good understanding of lessons taught during class. Now we're all being punished. What the f? I love how we don't even know where homework started. It either started over 1,000 years ago or only about 100 years ago. I don't think people realize how much more I would have loved school if we did not have homework. Or just much less. This is literally how homework had us looking, like we're homeless living on the streets. Why we always gotta look so desperate just trying to like copy your homie's homework? It sounds like with some of these universities, they might not have actually been assigning that many homework assignments. So that's kind of cool. Funny enough, some of the oldest universities aren't even in Europe, even though the map said that it was the oldest universities in this continent. Look at Morocco, Tunisia, and Egypt having this stuff beat out. It's funny, you would think that I've heard of a lot of these universities since they are so old, in fact, but the only one that I really know about is, well, Oxford and I guess the University of Paris. Oh, Cambridge. As always, these maps have some errors. Not only are some of them not universities, some of them were not always in continuous operation, and also some are missing. I was gonna say, some of those places had to have like briefly closed during the World Wars, right? At the very least. Funny how none of them were in the college basketball playoffs. These must be second-rate schools. Imagine not having a Division I American football team in your university. What a bunch of losers. It's funny because I always thought I was building the university building way too early in Sid Meier's Civilization, no matter what time I was playing that game. I'm like, what? Why am I building a university in the medieval times? That's stupid. Turns out, I'm stupid. Everyone always loves talking about this history fact that Oxford University was built before the Aztec Empire. Speaking of schools, though, these admission rates are crazy. This is how hard it is to get into an Ivy League. The hardest one, of course, being Harvard with a 3.2% admission rate. I need to be in the top 97% just to pay $13,000 to go to your school. Thanks. You also need a 790 in math and then a 760 in reading and writing in the SAT score. The next hardest university to get into is Columbia University. It is cheaper though. Then we got Yale at 4.6%, Brown University at 5.1%. Bam, Princeton. Dang, I don't think, I used to have this Princeton sweatshirt that I'd wear. Sometimes people would ask me on the street, did you go to Princeton? I'd be like, no, I'm wearing this ironically because I'm dumb. Brown University makes you pay $26,000 annually. That's probably why they have a significantly higher acceptance rate. They need to find someone to pay for all that. SAT score wise though, it's pretty much all the same, which kind of explains why like some of the smart kids that I used to know, they'd get accepted into all these. It wasn't like one or two of them. Dartmouth is at 6.4%, Penn is at 6.5%, and then Cornell University 7.5%. Dartmouth is actually the most expensive at $33,000. I'm good. I'll go to a community college. I mean, I did. I love how this graph kind of forces you to compare not only how to get in with your SAT scores, how hard it is to get in, and then also how much you're gonna pay. Honestly, if I got into Harvard, yeah, I would just go to Harvard. I mean, it's not as expensive as some of these others. $33,000 a year for Dartmouth is insane when Princeton is only $11,000. I was vice president at one of these schools, and I have a few inside observations. There's serious effort to have a blend of students from all parts of the U.S. Yep, I remember Harvard is facing some controversy because of that. I asked a few professors why they wanted to teach at our schools. One of them said, you can't believe the difference it makes to have a class filled with people who really want to be there. Ooh, I can imagine. When Ivy leaders get together to share problems and solutions, they usually do so with a few other universities. These are the called Ivy Plus, usually include MIT, Stanford, Chicago, Duke. Looking at this, I should have went to an Ivy League school. It would have been cheaper. That's a good point. You got some universities out here costing almost a full $100,000 just to go for a year. That's crazy. Northwestern University. It's funny that we were just reviewing that map about some of the oldest universities in the world, because in America, the Ivy Leagues are some of the oldest universities we have. Of course, they're nowhere near the age of the European ones, but these are some of the first built. Obviously, you can see that they're all part of the original 13 colonies. Harvard is officially the oldest, almost 400 years old in 9 years. That's so funny. There's an asterisk for when the U.S. took over the Philippines. Then briefly, the Philippines had the oldest university in America. Bro, I cannot escape this in my algorithm right now. The most Instagrammed music festivals. I have never gone to Coachella, but for some reason, that is all I'm seeing on my timeline. People are all surprised to find out that I've never gone to this, because not only do I live in California, but I am also, well, I don't want to say influencer. It sounds so it's terrible. But I remember almost going to Coachella back in like 2011. That's how old I am. And then ever since then, the prices have just been going up and up and up. That's the problem with my timeline because I am watching so much Coachella content and I'm just so fascinated at the price that people are paying for this thing. Like on average, after the ticket price, after if you car park or you wherever if you decide to stay in like a hotel, these people are paying like $1,200 at least minimum. It's probably closer to $1,500, maybe $2,000. Bro, no. The lineup never even looks that good to me. I don't know. I just can't see myself doing it. The lineup never is that good to me. I don't know. I'm down to see T-Pain, and man, probably that's it. I really love this graph though because there are some really interesting countries that come close to the US. Look at the tiny nation of Belgium with just one event. It's Tomorrowland. Tomorrowland, according to this, is the second most Instagrammed event in all of I guess the world. Just Tomorrowland beats everything in the UK combined. And that makes sense. I know of Tomorrowland. I know it's held in Belgium. I don't know of a single event that they do in the UK. I don't even know why I know that Tomorrowland's in Belgium. I will be honest, I'd rather go to Tomorrowland than Coachella. I don't know why. Even know anyone on this lineup? No. Not really. Kind of surprised to see EDC not a little bit bigger on this list, but we're not like as big of ravers, I guess, in the US. It goes Coachella, South by Southwest, then Burning Man. Oh, I'm sorry, no, UMF, Lollapalooza, Bonnaroo. Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know a single of these. Oh, I maybe have heard of the Reading Festival. I have no idea why I've heard of that. Germany just has Time Warp. Now, I'd really like to know how they gathered this data because is it just on English-speaking Instagram? Like, English is overwhelmingly the language of choice on Instagram. So is that why some of these other countries are a little bit lower on the list? Maybe some of these countries also use other apps, not Instagram. Brazil's pretty big, Spain's pretty big, the Netherlands, then Japan. Why does Japan have two different ones? Clock and Flap? What the hell is that? I gotta think that there are some way bigger Asian ones, but they're using something else. Like China's probably not even on this. Look at the Philippines go though. Oh, they got a Wanderlust in music in the Philippines? Also keep in mind, these are events that people really want to show the rest of the world that they like to go to. There might be events that are more attended, although I think Coachella and Tomorrowland are some of the most just attended in general. The incredible overrepresentation of English-speaking festivals suggests to me that this is surely, well, yeah, because, yeah, the methodology is going to be messed up. It's using hashtags on Instagram. Fire is really popular. Technically, the truth, yeah, that was one of the most social media hyped event. Wins Fire 2. We need a Fire 2 for the amount of people that are like financing their Coachella trips this weekend. It's making me financially anxious for the world. What do you mean 60% of general admission ticket buyers at Coachella used buy now, pay later to finance their tickets? We're in a recession. It's over. The number of Europeans traveling to the US has cratered. And what's crazy is this isn't just from Europe. Apparently it's Canada too. Most Canadians now saying they're less likely to travel to the US in 2025. So this could be maybe just a worldwide thing, which is not good. I mean, a lot of places make a lot of money because of tourism, and summer is coming up. Now keep in mind, these graphs I think are starting in the winter time in the beginning of 2024. So it is still the winter, but obviously these are abnormal drops. I think we're really gonna have to come back to all this talk around September or October of this year because, well, summer hasn't started yet. I can see, obviously, all of the controversy making an impact, though, for sure. Funny enough, the European country that is definitely not coming to America the most is Denmark. I can kind of see why. We're trying to take your island from you. Oh, then it's Iceland, which has very close to connections to Denmark. And then also, well, they're probably thinking that they're going to be on the list. If America takes Greenland, then we're probably going to want Iceland as well. We might even get confused and being like, just point at Iceland. Oh, that looks green enough. Looks like an island to me. It's mostly the northern cold countries that are on this list, funny enough. I don't see, well, France isn't here. No Italy, though. No Greece. These are a lot of Nordic countries. So Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Iceland. Up next, look at the tourist imbalance. Europe is ripping us off. They must send more people. Raise the tariffs. Imagine pissing off the travelers of the continent that is notorious for the many vacation days it gets. No. Oh, I didn't even think about that. We're screwed. Disney World and Universal Studios in Florida will be ghost towns. There's gonna be some Americans that are actually happy about that. But book a trip to the great old USA and get an extra trip to El Salvador for free. They'll put you in one of their most famous structures ever in El Salvador. It's the biggest in North America, in fact. Which billionaires became billionaires the fastest? And some of these numbers are insane. Like 43 years, okay, I guess that makes sense. Oh, Irvine Company. Oh no. Continental Resources took that guy 41 years. Harbor Freight 40 years. Related 35 years. Like, all right, I kind of get that. Warren Buffett, here we go. It's like one of the billionaires a lot of people are generally okay with. 27 1997, 26, 25. Here's the guy from NVIDIA, 93 to 2017, 24 years. Now, as soon as we enter into like the top 10, it took Elon Musk 17 years. It's not just one bill, or is this his net worth right now? No. Larry Ellison of Oracle, 16 years. We're entering the top 10. Here's Mike Bloomberg. I feel like to become billionaire in about like 10 years. That's getting insane. Bill Gates, 7th place on this list. Took him 12 years. 9 years for this guy. 4th place, 6 years. Oh my gosh, we have 2 Googles. It took both these guys 6 years. That's crazy. 10 years, I think, you know, okay, I guess. To become a billionaire? Even that's actually kind of insane when I really think about it. 3rd place, the dude from WhatsApp, 5 years. Just between 2009 and 2014. That's crazy. Mark Zuckerberg in 2nd place here. It took him 4 years. Just between the years of 2004 and 2008. This dude has been like running the world basically for way too long. And finally, Jeff Bezos, also 4 years. He became a billionaire back in 1998. That's great. I did not know it was back in 1998. He made 1.6 billion in just the span of 4 years. Mind blowing. I can't even wrap my head around that. That means that he was making like 250 million a year. Probably wasn't like that. It was probably like maybe 50 million, 300 million, 500 million. Interesting how Bill Gates is second on this list to become a billionaire already in 1987. He's got a good 20 to 30 years head start on everyone else. A disturbing guide of how long it took the biggest money launderers to become rich after exploiting the mostly American workspace. Downvoting because this guide ain't cool. Compare that to which state actually works the most? Who is actually the hardest of workers out here? So where in the United States have people spent the highest percentage of their past year working? Oh, this is gonna be good. Let's actually start off on the bottom of the list. What state doesn't work? Well, one of the lowest is, I guess, Connecticut, who spent a total of 17% of their year working. This could be because maybe there's just a lot of rich people in Connecticut that don't work at all. That brings like the average way down, because as you can see, the average is significantly further down than Michigan. Also, this isn't showing 50. There's 50 US states. And the lowest on this list, Michigan, South Carolina, Oklahoma, Illinois. I don't know about some of this. Some of this seems a little funky. So these percentages here are apparently showing percentage of years spent working. So what is that? If people work 40 hours a week, and there's 168 hours per week, then let's see, what's that math? So on average, Americans are working about a quarter of the hours. I mean, well, a little bit less than a quarter. If you're only doing 40 hours a week, a little bit less than the hours per week. Remember, you got to sleep too, though. So this probably does equate to about, well, let's see, how much are you sleeping? Ideally, you want 8 hours per night times 7. Divided by 168. A third of the hours you're sleeping. Oh yeah, I should have been able to do that on my head. Number 1 here is Utah. I also wonder if this just kind of comes down to like the poorest states. That's certainly the case when I see states like Mississippi and Alabama. I can say that I'm from Alabama. It's all good. This just means to me that there's not a lot of rich people and everyone's having to work like crazy hours. Yeah, this is just showing me the poorest states, unfortunately. I don't know the North Carolina situation or apparently Utah's situation. The Mormons, they just love working, I guess. Okay, so the reason why the list only goes to 42 is because not every state is included. We do have a lot of working class states: Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Arkansas. Texas is actually near the bottom. California's somewhere in the middle. Yeah, I don't know about this. This is seeming a little BS-y. There's a whole separate list of the top 8 that weren't included. Wyoming is technically number 1, then Hawaii. I could actually see the residents of Hawaii. Well, I don't know how many retirees do they have, but Florida. Where's Florida on this list? I'd imagine Florida probably wouldn't work that much just because of how many people go down there to retire. It's funny because on a world level, the U.S. is pretty average in terms of like people that work the most. Mexico, unfortunately, is very up there. South Korea. Germany is not as high as you'd think, actually. I thought Germany would be higher. I'm pretty sure the Philippines gets pretty high too. Well, if this image wasn't like 240p quality. Utah has a strong culture of treating employees like hot garbage. Well, that can't be good. Yeah, the methodology here, kind of messy, to say the least. And big ol' thanks to my April patrons. I time traveled back in 2025 to stop Drew from taking over the world. We only have 2 years left. Drew's Argentinian Trust Fund, Rip Grandpa. Alexander the Terrible. Carmel S. Connor Pavlik. DOOCHBAGGINS. Fredrik Tibblin. KingBearHaze. KirinoIsBestGirl. LuxembourgLover. The Go. Nolan. NordTyrol. And Tambre.